It's Mad Men Sports coming at you live. Myself, Jake, Zach over there,
and Richard
Perks
from our Fantasy Perks blog, madmensports.com. How you doing today, Richard?
Doesn't miss. He does not miss.
He was.
I'm doing all right.
Good. Happy to have you on the show. As we were saying, you do a blog for us on madmensports.com.
The blog.
The blog. The only blog.
Madman exclusive. He credit where's credit's due. Tyler Croft goes out on Saturday. He doesn't skip over a stone. He touches it all. Isaiah McKenzie, what is the first touchdown of the game that I don't want to talk about still, is an Isaiah McKenzie thrown touchdown. I mean,
all I'm saying
that's
is
the Perks right there.
Mr. Perks does not miss.
He can't miss.
It's impossible.
Richard.
I've got my list next to me now for this week. So.
Oh, perfect. If you want to bust it out, let's start it off from the top right here. What do we got for our fantasy perks? It's a bye week, so
A little sneak peek.
we're looking for some Bills buys. What do we got?
Bye week edition. So you got some good divisional matchups this week, and we actually had a really big game injury. Drew Brees went out. He broke some ribs, punctured a lung. I really hope he's okay, but we don't know who the starting quarterback is in New Orleans. But I believe Jameis Winston is going to have a really good week. I think his arm talent settles in well with the Saints and their offense and what they want to do. And that's just going to give Kamara even more opportunities. It's going to open it up. But then you also have a guy there named Kasem Hill, who not only throws the ball, but he runs the ball, catches the ball. And interestingly enough in fantasy, he's listed as a tight end / quarterback. So why not double dip on your New Orleans Saints this week and play Jameis Winston and Kasem Hill?
That's a smart move. That's next level. Imagine having a quarterback in your lineup, and then Taysom Hill, we all love. We don't all love. I love Jameis Winston. I think his vision was a big problem last year.
Got that LASIK.
Yeah, he's coming in now. He's got an opportunity to really shine. But are they really going to hand over the reins to a guy that hasn't played much, A, and then B, take away from a guy that just paid, Taysom Hill, who's probably going to be their long-term solution at quarterback? This is a great trial run. Taysom Hill could be an ultimate flex right here with your tight end position, especially with tight ends overall across the board in fantasy really not producing much this year.
Yeah, Tyler Higbee is not doing what I need him to.
It's not even his name.
I don't care what his name is. That's how little I care about this year in fantasy, or the Rams for that matter.
I just follow whatever Richard tells me.
Exactly.
Richard, what's another perk we got?
So last week, Miami's offense, they've been going through running backs like they've been going at it, like they're on sale. I think they've started 5 or 6 different guys this year. And they just had a guy last week, Salvin Ahmed. I've never even heard of him. He's an undrafted rookie from Washington, I believe. And he just goes out and, runs for 85 yards and scores a touchdown. And they're going up against a Denver defense that just got completely trounced by Josh Jacobs and the Las Vegas Raiders. And I just see Miami doing the same kind of thing, just handing the ball off 25, 30 times. And I think Salvin Ahmed's going to have another big game. I think he's going to break 100 yards. Might even catch a few balls out of the backfield. We don't know.
Great PPR dig right there, especially this late in the season. Listen, your running back position, you might not be getting a ton of production in the running back this year. High scoring offenses, a lot of high throwing games. If you don't have one of the top 12, I'd say you're probably really inconsistent in running back this year, more than years past. This might be a huge pickup for an offense that still has a rookie quarterback, still looking to get their footing. Their defense, solid. So if they get the lead, they're going to be deferring to the running back in a situation where not a lot of times are they deferring to running backs in the league at the moment. Scoring's up, shootouts are happening, but the Dolphins defense may keep them in it. Jake, got an opinion on that? You're looking at me like you don't like talking about the Dolphins right now.
I just think the Dolphins are such an interesting position here. And like Perk said, they are cycling through running backs. So who's to say that another guy might come out of nowhere? But, got to trust my dude, Richard Perks.
They just cut Jordan Howard. I mean, there's no timeshare right now.
Cannot steer me wrong. I'm not going to bet against the man. He's been right too many times.
Take the guy to Vegas. He's that much of a lock right now.
Yeah,
You have one more for us, Richard? I don't want to put you on the spot if you only had 2 for the show.
Oh, yeah. So if you're like me, I stream defenses every week. So every week I play a different defense, and it's all matchup based. So this week, the team that has the best matchup is the Los Angeles Chargers. They're playing against the New York Jets. The Jets are just an absolute dumpster fire, and the Chargers still have a good pass rush. They still have some decent secondary play, and it doesn't matter who's at quarterback. The Chargers are just going to be making plays on defense all day. And that's if you're in need for a defense, try to go out and get the Chargers. They're only 28% rostered on ESPN, so I just don't see why you wouldn't go out and get them right now.
I'm definitely streaming defenses. I've done it, since I was a pipsqueak. It just makes no sense to hold on to a defense, especially in this day and age in the NFL. They're getting torched left and right. And I will say, all year in my survivor pool, I've made it to, what is this, week 11 now? I've made it to week 11 in a survivor pool. Longest I've ever made it, jinx. Knock on the wood right there. I've been fading New York teams. Every now and then, I fade a random, of course, like the Jags. Gave me a scare a couple weeks ago. But I've been fading the Jets. It's almost the same thing in the concept. If you're going to pick a survivor team, you pick the defense because it's just how that works. I think the Chargers are a great matchup. The Jets have never figured it out. Even though Adam Gase, we are a pro Adam Gase podcast. We love him. We hope he gets another extension. We think he's an offensive mind like we've never even seen in this league before. Someone who invented the forward pass also invented Adam Gase. This guy is an oracle.
I want him to take on a Bill O'Brien role as well and kind of be the general manager as well. I think.
No. Their general manager is doing a great job as well. You got to keep it up. You don't fix it if it isn't broken. The Jets are something that is not broken. They're a perfect simulation of the whole thing. I hope they get Trevor Lawrence, and then they get Sam Darnold out of here, and then they really build up Trevor Lawrence. Could you imagine getting a top quarterback like Sam Darnold and then doubling down on an even better quarterback with Trevor Lawrence?
With Adam Gase at the helm.
We are a pro.
He's a quarterback
Adam
guru.
Gase podcast. And he's done so well with all the Jets quarterbacks. You hope he doesn't do that well against the Chargers defense. But, wink, wink, nudge,
Why do you
nudge,
think Ryan
he probably
Tannehill is
will.
so good? Adam Gase.
Exactly. As soon as he got away from him, he took all of the knowledge he got from Adam Gase, and now he's a top 10 quarterback.
Adam Gase for president.
Can't deny the facts here. Richard Perks, Fantasy Perks. Check it out on the website. We will put the link in the
bio.
Is it a bio?
Description.
Description.
It's a description.
Yeah. Link in bio on Instagram only.
Yeah, whatever. I don't know.
So where do we want to take it next? Bi-week edition. Let's talk about Dune for a second. We're not laughing at it. We're just
JVT.
We're like, we got to go off the wall for a little bit.
JVT. I'm not gonna lie to you. Never heard of it, but I did watch the trailer. Looks impeccable. I did not know Timothée Chalamet was going to be in it. I did not know Zendaya was going to be in it.
I don't even know who Timothée Chalamet is.
David Bautista is making an appearance. I don't know how big his role will be.
I'll tell you what really matters.
I'm going to
here.
watch it, though. I'm really going to watch it.
I have seen the trailer. It looks great. I know people that read the book, so it's like I did. We got Josh Brolin. We have Javier Bardem. If I know anything about good movies, I know that those two are enough to make a great movie. We all seen No Country for Old Men. They are the two main characters, I guess, if you count out Tommy Lee Jones. I can't imagine Dune will be a miss. This looks like a great hit. We know Perks has seen it. Perks, have you seen the trailer?
Yeah, I've seen the trailer. It looks wild. Like, the only thing I got out of it is they're fighting a giant sandworm. I mean,
that's all you need to know.
I love action.
Exactly. You know what I was watching before we started tonight? King Kong.
Oh, you love to see it.
Exactly. We saw King Kong.
I thought you were watching Forrest Gump. You said something about Lieutenant Dan.
Yeah, okay. Here's the scene. I'll set the scene, right? So I'm watching King Kong fight the dinosaur, and I said, Lieutenant Dan, you ain't got no tongue, because King Kong ripped the dinosaur's tongue out in the fight. So I was like, oh my gosh, Lieutenant Dan, you ain't got no tongue.
I should watch that movie. I've never seen it.
It's long.
Zach sends me on like a movies you need to watch list. I saw all the Oceans movies.
It'd be a really good podcast, wouldn't it?
Great movies. I saw The Game, which is a psychological thriller.
The Game might be the most suspenseful movie of all time with Michael Douglas. I believe it was, I don't know, 1977, I want to say it came out. No, it's not that long.
90s.
Yeah, 1997. Definitely 1997. The Game is a great movie, great thriller. I suggest everyone watching this watches that. You don't have to, though.
No, you should.
Let me think.
Sicarios?
Sicarios? They're not a serial. It's one singular.
There's two of them.
Yes.
Sicario 1, Sicario 2.
Yes. I don't. It's not like
Michael
Josh
Douglas, Sean Penn.
Absolutely. Now, let's get into the Bills, because we have a bye week.
No, movies.
We have a bye week here. How do we fix what this team needs to be fixed? Plus sides, they're 7-3. You know, they're the number one quarterback in passing yards, number one wide receiver in receiving yards, number one catches. We have Cole Beasley having a career year. Jake, who would you say is the MVP through the first 10 weeks of the season? You know how we do it here. Obviously, Josh Allen's been the MVP. We like to think outside of the box. So, obviously, Josh Allen, 1. Who's 1B?
Well, no surprises here. Sorry to take such a layup here. Stephon Diggs. He completely transformed this lackluster, averaging 19 points a game Buffalo Bills offense and turned it into a powerhouse. Stephon Diggs leading the league in receptions and receiving yards. Yep. Make Josh Allen a top 5 quarterback, a kind of legitimate MVP candidate within the first 4 or 5 weeks. Made the running game unnecessary at points, which is something from a Bills fan, from that standpoint, is crazy, knowing that we've relied on the run for so many years. It's wild to see a Bills team pass first, run later.
Absolutely, absolutely. And, you know, like you said, the first 4 weeks, it didn't take any time for this offense to get off the ground, pretty much. Diggs was an instrumental part from the beginning. Richard, what do you got for our first 10-week MVP, outside of Josh Allen, of course?
I can't pick Stephon Diggs, but
you can.
I was going to go on the defensive side of the ball. I'm going to say Jordan Poyer. That guy is just an absolute machine. I think he's leading the league in tackles by a defensive back.
Yes.
So far this year, he's come up with turnovers when we needed them most. That one against Russell Wilson in the end zone, I think,
that's the game turner.
That changed the entire momentum very early on in the game. Then he had that interception against Arizona where it just flipped out of Larry Fitzgerald's hands. Don't know how it happened. I'm not going to ask why. It just happened. And Poyer was there. And it's just, I feel like he's been the quarterback of the defense this season because Micah Hyde has been out with injury. Tremaine Edmonds has been out with injury. Matt Milano's been out. And the only mainstay back there so far this year has been Jordan Poyer.
I can't disagree with anything you just said. I mean, 2 huge interceptions, 2 sacks on the season. You know how I go off the dome here. I think he's got 83 tackles currently, and he's in the top 10 in tackles in the season. He's the only defensive back in the top 15 at least. He's got a huge gap between him and the next. He has been, like you said, a mainstay. He is the only thing that has been consistent is him making plays, him really turning the tides, especially on certain drives. Like you said, the Seattle game, he really made a huge impact. He's a guy that got paid, and we're all like, you know what? He probably deserved it. It's a little bit long, a little bit extra money than I would have thought, but he's underrated throughout this whole time with the Bills. This is a great year for him. What'd you look up? Would you find something?
Tackles, what did you say?
83.
Damn, the professor strikes again.
I got it all up here, man.
It's 83.
Yeah. They can't read. No, I'm kidding. They can't read it. I'm saying they can't read the
We
screen.
do not think that you have a reading comprehension of a third grader. Zach does not mean
third graders
that.
know their numbers.
Oh,
I'm saying they can't read it. But
damage
no,
control.
Jordan Poyer, he's been fantastic. I can't disagree. He's got to be a Pro Bowler this year, right? If not, is he in the All-Pro conversation? This is a great point, Richard. What do you think? Do you think he's an All-Pro this year? Is he in the conversation at least?
I didn't even think of All-Pro, but I know I did my Pro Bowl voting last night, and he was the number 1 guy on the list.
Me too. I did
because
that.
I have yet.
Yeah, they're going by stats. But if he keeps this up, I could see All-Pro, maybe not first-team All-Pro because, those usually go to the guys in the big market teams with the big names. But I could see him being definitely in conversation for sure.
Absolutely. I mean, Jake, you disputing an All-Pro campaign right now?
No, I mean, I think Jordan Poyer has done a great job stepping up when we've had some inconsistencies with the linebackers, specifically due to injury and AJ Klein, minus the last 2 weeks, which is my last 2 week MVP. But I think if I had to pick one part of his game, historically with the Bills, now I want to say that he's kind of cleaned that up, but historically his pass defense has been something that if I had to pick something, it would be that great in the run defense. But this year, definitely cleaned that up with those fantastic interceptions. I mean, even that one against Brady last year, which was really nice in the end zone. He's got a lot of end zone picks, which is important when you're playing red zone defense. So definitely got to stand Jordan Poyer.
Absolutely. Is that recording?
Yeah, but I think they got pissed at you because you said that they couldn't read.
I was asking you.
I think the charger fell.
Oh, okay.
But we're good.
All right, so I got to go back to Stephon Diggs. Is he an all-pro currently? I mean,
fuck that dude.
He's a top in catches. He's top in yards. What are we looking for if we're not looking for all-pros here? Obviously, he got a little outshined by DeAndre Hopkins, but he had a great catch in the end zone by a great throw. Is Stephon Diggs currently an all-pro?
Yeah. Yes.
Yes. Richard, what do you think? Is he currently having an all-pro campaign? He was also at the top of the Pro Bowl voting.
Oh, 100%. He's first-team All-Pro right now. And if he's not, I'm going to go to wherever they do the voting, protest outside. I don't condone violence, but I will peacefully protest.
Madmen's first protest. We're in too.
Dare I say, if every quarterback in the NFL disappears, Stephon Diggs is an MVP candidate. I don't know. I always think MVPs go to quarterbacks, but
it's possible. I mean, he's definitely completely
Number one wide
changed
receiver in the league.
Josh Allen. I mean, I'll give a lot of credit to Josh Allen for the growth because he did it in his first to second year or second to first year. He did a growth there, but he's having a great growth this year, and it's hard to deny the impact that Stephon Diggs has on this offense. So, any MVP talk you might sprinkle in with Josh Allen, you also have to lather in a little Stephon Diggs.
yeah, definitely Josh Allen for most improved player of the year, right?
I gotta think hardware is coming somewhere for him, right?
Yeah.
Is that even is that a thing? Most improved player?
It might be.
That's
comeback.
gotta be an award, right?
I think it's comeback.
He's not come back. Like
Alex Smith.
Big Ben is comeback player of the year.
Alex Smith.
Big Ben. Richard, break the tie.
Alex Smith or Ben Roethlisberger.
I'm on the Alex Smith train.
He had 390 yards, no touchdowns, guys. I mean,
yeah, but he also
he lost his leg.
He went through 17 surgeries and almost died.
He lost his fucking leg, Zach.
Big Ben almost loses his leg every week.
He's fat. Fat people don't win comeback player of the year. Except for you.
I do see both sides of the argument though, because I was talking to one of my friends who's a Steelers fan, and he made a good point, but at the same time, like I can see his side, but I'm like, this guy came back from almost losing his life. If you've ever seen that 30 for 30 on ESPN about Alex Smith, it's mind blowing what that guy has come back from to play football again. Even walk again is just wild.
Lieutenant Dan, you ain't.
Can I have a side note here? I understand what you say, Richard. Is Kevin Everett okay? Is he walking?
I believe he is. Yes. I think he recovered. I mean, he's not doing anything strenuous, but I'm pretty sure he's walking.
I had his book, an autograph signed version of his book. That was scary. Preseason against the Bears, right?
I think it was the Broncos.
Broncos.
I have to mute my mic for a second.
Now you did. Perks, do you remember that? Obviously, right? Kevin Everett, probably one of the most scariest plays I've ever seen in football.
Yeah, that was on the opening kickoff, wasn't it?
That was, yeah. It was.
I think it was the opening kickoff of the second half.
Opening kickoff of the second half. Zach says.
Yeah, I don't know how those guys finished that game.
No,
because that was insane to think.
Yeah, that's got to be on par with the gruesome, I don't know the specifics, but that Sabres player in the 90s having his throat slit on the ice.
Oh, Clint Malarchuk?
Yeah.
Oh.
The 80s and 90s.
Oh.
See,
that is a wild video.
Yeah, I would have to presume that that's more graphic, but geez, both of those happening are probably the worst things that have happened in sports. I don't know. Ugh. You're still muted.
I don't know. I think a Kevin Ware that was pretty bad.
Oh my God, Kevin Ware.
Easter dinner. Let me think of another bad injury in sports. Alex Smith.
Yeah.
Joe Theismann. I feel like there was just
a tight end had that Alex Smith injury, right?
Dak Prescott. I mean,
yeah.
Or
Oh,
as Tony Romo would say, a cramp.
I still can't believe you said that.
Yeah, right. Dude, are you seeing the same thing? As a guy that can read defense as good as he, I'm surprised he's not a doctor because, I'm not surprised he's not a doctor because he can't read an injury for shit.
No.
Oh, that's just a cramp, no problem. So we got the fixing of the hardware. That was our hardware segment, and now let's do
AJ
third
Klein.
quarters.
AJ Klein.
We got some problem with third quarters this year. There's no denying that. I believe their plus minus is, I want to say 43, minus 43 on the season.
1,000.
Third. It feels like 1,000. Honestly, they have the third quarter problem. I feel like they didn't have a terrible third quarter against the Cardinals. They had an interception, I believe. They had a fumble recovery, I believe.
They
did throw it.
They went on like a 15-point unanswered run or something crazy like that in the third. Maybe not 15 points.
But they also threw a touchdown to Cole Beasley. I don't think that was their worst third quarter performance of the season.
No. They've definitely had some really, really shitty third quarters. And to say that isn't their worst is probably pretty bad to say. It still wasn't good. It's still not something you want to happen playing against another legitimate playoff team. That can happen, but...
Yeah, but, listen, it's a thing I've been telling myself to sleep every night this week.
Everybody gets paid.
Both teams get paid, so it's tough to expect the Bills to have a great first half like they've had almost every game, and then except for the Tennessee game.
Yeah.
I didn't like anything about that game. But, it's tough to think that they come out in the first half, have a great half, and then they can maintain that. I mean, the only team I can think of that has maintained dominance throughout a whole game is the 2007 New England Patriots. But, Richard, what do you think about the third quarter problems we have right now? What is that stemming from? What do you think the problem is? What do you think the adjustments could be?
I honestly don't know. I don't know if it's an offensive strategy where they get too comfortable with the play call and the defense obviously adjust to it, and then they're almost behind the eight ball with adjusting to the adjustments. And on the defensive side, they just always seem to come out super sluggish from halftime. I don't know what the stat is. Just thinking about it, have they forced a 3-and-out coming out of halftime yet in the defense's first drive? I can't remember.
I think their first stopped first drive was, I want to say it was the fumble coming out of half this week. I think that's what happened. Wasn't it the kickoff and then they got the fumble? No, that was a punt, right? I've already tried to scrub so much of that game out of my memory already that I think
all I know,
they might have stopped him.
All I know is that Buffalo got the second half kickoff for the first time this year because it was the first time they've won the house.
That's true. So, yeah, I mean, they did get the – yeah. I mean, their third quarter is – listen, I'm not sure how do we fix it. They have to be bumping their heads against the wall this week and half of next week trying to figure out, hey, what are we doing wrong here?
I think it's a combination of the conservative philosophy that Sean McDermott has. He's not one to drop 50 on a team when they're up big. So they kind of step off the gas, and then they're like, shit, we really stepped off the gas. And then now they're trying to play catch up. I think that's kind of the scenario that I'm seeing, because it's very strange to be dominant in the first. I mean, there was multiple games this year where we scored 21 points in the first quarter. And then all those teams, I'm talking specifically the Rams, have come back and almost beat us. So I think we can kind of get complacent. We're kind of all right, let's kind of smooth sailing to the victory. And then they're like, oh, we're kind of shit out of luck now.
Yeah, I mean, I think of, let me think here. The Jets game, they were up big and they kind of had a little run on them. They had the Rams game, of course. They
Raiders, I think, too.
I don't remember the Raiders game that fondly. I don't like 4:00 games. They always mess with my brain. The Seahawks had that happen. I mean, it didn't happen entirely, but they definitely scored quick, scored big, and then kind of let up on the gas a little bit. They eventually got to 44. I still think it should have been 48. And then the Dolphins had that happen as well. I mean, how do you put away teams is really going to be something that they really need to focus on. I would have thought they would have tried to focus on it this offseason. Obviously, they had a shot offseason like everyone else, but how do you put away a team when your offense is clicking so well and you don't have a run game? This kind of parlays into our next segment, kind of how do we fix the run? Because I would think that these two topics go hand in hand here. So handing off to the next topic here, How do we fix the run?
I think it's important to get both Mitch Morris and John Feliciano back. We need the continuity back. When John Feliciano's first game was back, we saw that little flash. You may not see it on the stat sheet, but there was definitely an energy in the air saying, all right, there's a little life left in this running game. But when Mitch Morris went out, John Feliciano bumped over to center. I think we lost that spark.
I think you saw his impact on the stat sheet almost immediately with the 200 rushing yards.
You certainly did.
That was something they couldn't do. And then they lost Morris, like in the third play of the game.
Exactly. So I think that's...
Getting them healthy is huge.
Yeah. Having John Feliciano, I think, honestly, what is it? Who did we release? Quentin Spain a couple weeks ago? I think that he might be a pretty big missing part. I don't think Cody Ford's strength is the run game. So you decided to go with Cody Ford other than Quentin Spain.
You're asking me to dissect Cody Ford's strength. I don't think I have one for you. Richard, how do we fix the run game here? What are we doing? Like, what's going on with this? I mean, it's the Buffalo Bills. They've been good at running since
before CJ.
Since the football was invented. Like, they've been able to run with OJ, Thurman. I mean,
Willis McGahee.
Yeah, I mean, Travis Henry, Willis, Fred Jackson.
Marshawn
We've had nothing
Lynch.
but LaShawn McCoy. I mean, we could go on and on naming Cookie Gilchrist. Like, we got so
Carlos
many.
Williams.
Okay, stop. We got so many good running backs.
Keep going.
What do we do? Mike Gillisley. How do we get so many good running backs and then right now we can't get the running game going with Boobie Dixon out?
I miss Boobie.
How do we fix it? I have no.
That's something I've been thinking about for pretty much all season. It's kind of one of those things where you hate to see Josh run so much because what was it in the Jets game? He ran the ball like 15 times week one. And I was like, whoa, all right, try to pull the reins back on that. But then I haven't seen any designed QB runs, and I think that helps open up the defense more because I feel like Josh has just as much speed to get to the edge as Zach Moss and Devin Singletary. And almost with those RPOs, when you put it in their mind that Josh can hit the edge and get around the corner with the guards pulling and all that, hit him with the misdirection, he gets Singletary going the other way. And I trust Singletary making a defensive lineman miss in a phone booth. He's just so slippery. And then Zach Moss can make guys miss. I haven't quite seen him put the shoulder down and run through guys like he was talking about after the draft. But I don't know if that's just him being got the rookie jitters. But they need to find that happy medium of 5 or 6 designed QB runs a game. Really just try to open it up.
Without a doubt, I think that's necessary. Listen, you hit it on the head. You can get Devin Singletary so well balanced, you could have him make guys miss in a phone booth. You took the words right out of my brain right there. But how do you get him to hit the holes faster? You almost can't because he doesn't have the speed. But then you go to your second punch with Zach Moss, and you're dead on with that one. We haven't seen him have the defense make business decisions, as he would like to call it, post-draft. I haven't had someone say, man, I don't want to tackle this guy. They're like, all right, I go after this guy's legs, he goes down. Like, it's almost if you took the best of both worlds, you're still missing the thing that this whole offense needs. And you kind of hit on that with Allen getting around the edge right now. Like, this defense or this offense doesn't have a speed back. And I think it's so clear that they're missing speed at that position. They kind of force, I don't want to say force, but it works. But Isaiah McKenzie works into that role often because he's a speed back. His plays are almost a guaranteed 4 or 5 yards because whenever you have him coming off the edge, he's fast enough to do that. So this offense is definitely missing what I think is, I don't want to say LaShawn McCoy because he moved too much. You just need a downhill runner that's got speed. It's something this team's missing. And it's something that they were missing the year that McCoy started to his down decline. And, the Frank Gore, he wasn't the answer. These two guys aren't the answer. It seems like with these blocking schemes and with this offense and what they're doing with the pass right now, you need a faster guy back, or you got to wonder if Yeldon's going to be able to fix it. You know for a fact that they're not going to put him back there. What do you think, Jake? Is that what we're missing? Is speed out of the backfield?
No, I think we've seen production more so out of Devin Singletary. I don't think the sample size is there for Zach Moss. Devin Singletary can be successful. I think it comes down to the offensive line. I think that we're missing Quentin Spain a lot more than we're kind of talking about here. I don't think people are talking about how impactful John Feliciano is. I don't think the continuity is there. I think Cody Ford needs to ride the bench. Do we need a speed back? Sure, that's valuable. Do I wish that Devin Singletary was faster than what he was? The skill set that he does have, sure. Would I want to see Devin Singletary on the field more than Zach Moss? Yes. Do I necessarily think a speed back would be the answer to all of our problems? No.
I'm not saying answer all of our problems.
Not all of our
We
problems.
still have linebackers that are hurt. I mean, we have a punter that kicks a 12-yard punt every now
Hot
and
take.
then.
Hot take. Every time Josh Allen gets a receiving touchdown, the Bills lose an absolute
Wow, where'd you get that stat
tearjerker.
from? Where'd you
Facebook.
get-
It's Bills Mafia.
From me on Sunday.
Oh, you said that?
Every game, yeah.
Oh shit!
So
my
they're
bad.
0 for 2 in games he scores a touchdown in, which I hate. But
We
I
should
like
stop doing
like
that.
the play, but they let their foot off the gas because they're like, "Wow, we get to do anything against this team," and then they don't do anything against that team. Richard, are we missing a speed back in this offense? Do you really think that would make a huge difference, or am I just so far gone on just demanding speed out of this offense?
No, I totally agree. I think speed kills, and I honestly love when they use Isaiah McKenzie in the jet sweeps. I wish they would use him more as an actual setback in the shotgun. Like, I want him standing next to Josh. And Devin Singletary's pass blocking ability has gotten so much better this year that they could run up almost like a two-back set with Singletary and McKenzie, and you don't know which one. You don't know if they're running or passing because Singletary is a solid blocker that you could almost throw them off and then, hit the misdirection. I love misdirection plays, and the best way to hit the misdirection is with speed. And I feel like if they use McKenzie more as a setback in shotgun, I feel like that would help open up the run game a lot more.
You have breaking news?
No. When the fuck did we get rid of Pat DeMarco?
What? Are you kidding me?
No. What happened? When was this?
August?
Really?
He didn't make
Yeah,
the cut.
I
They
think
gave him an
he-
injury settlement.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah, he had a neck injury or something.
Were you waiting for him to come back?
Yeah. When you were like, all right, Devin Singletary could block. And I was like, wait. We have Pat DeMarco. Obviously, we don't have. Oh, my God.
How does that happen? How do you do this podcast?
They've been lining up Reggie Gilliam at fullback whenever they need fullback out there.
Holy
Yeah.
shit.
And you know what? I like him. Not as much as Jake does, but
What about Doran Dickerson?
what about Lee Smith? Like, he's a great blocking tight end. He doesn't have the speed that we need out of a human being at this point in the NFL, but
It's my dad.
he could be a perfect, Swiss Army knife lineman at any point, and they haven't even signed him up. They've been using this Dawson Knox guy that's not very good. He should go cry in Dawson's Creek.
I actually have a total solution for our running problems. We don't have a dedicated fullback. Am I wrong? We've had a dedicated fullback, Frank Summers. Remember him? Big guy. Pat DeMarco. Smaller guy.
Those are the only two guys you got?
Yeah.
What about Darian Barnes?
Yeah.
Shelton. They had a guy named
This is
Shelton.
the first year we haven't had a dedicated fullback in the past 10 years, so that's why our running game sucks.
Listen, I almost think it's a valid excuse, and I don't want to talk about it because I worked so hard to have this team not have a fullback after all these years. But,
Maybe just not have them line out wide.
Richard, are we missing a fullback?
You can say no.
Honestly, that makes a lot of sense. No, that makes a lot of sense now that you mentioned it, because if you notice, they're not running. It doesn't feel like they're lining up under center a lot. They've been running a lot of shotgun, and when they do run out of the back, when they do run out of under center, it's more like outside zones. They're not really doing those, the zero and the one gap runs, and it could be because they're missing a lead block. I don't know why they're not using Ryan Bates more, to be honest. I think he's a super versatile lineman.
They use him a lot at the goal line.
Yeah, why not line him up in the next? Yeah, short yardage situations. Use him as a lead blocker. I know he's pretty athletic for a line.
Did I just solve the Bills
I almost hate
problems?
that I agree with both of you because I was thinking, I'm not even going to lie to you guys. During my lunch break today, I was listening to One Bills Drive. Very shoddy operation they got going on over there.
R.I.P. John Murphy.
But they had a question in their mailbag about the fullback, and they didn't have anything valuable to take away. But I was thinking
they
about the
suck.
question because I was thinking about the question afterwards, and I was like,
Fuck
you know
you,
what?
Steve Tasker.
Maybe this team does need a fullback, and I hate thinking that. But wasn't Reggie Gillian supposed to be a fullback, and they just changed him to tight end, and they don't use him in either capacity. I mean, they barely use him. Period.
All right, hear me out. Bring back Frank Summers. Bring back Logan Thomas. Bills are a Super Bowl team.
Of what? Super Bowl of what? Cereal?
No, that's all we're missing.
Let me see what I have out of Frank Summers.
Is he still alive?
He's probably still alive. He's probably
Move over, Steve Tasker. I'm coming to One Bills Live Drive.
Frank Summers, football fullback. Correct. He is 30. Oh, I have the same birthday as him.
See? Super Bowl.
Frank Summers is coming back. We're happy to announce it here on the podcast. He's got a great birthday.
He does a podcast. There he was on a podcast.
Yeah, ours. Just next week.
I'm calling Frank Summers.
Oh, man. All right, so we got the third quarter issue.
Look at that beautiful bastard.
We got the running game almost solved with a fullback and a speed back. Let's go backwards a little bit here. Richard, you are a very avid Disney worker. Have you met anyone like throughout the years? Stop showing pictures of Frank Summers.
That's a huge bitch. Look at that guy.
This is a G show.
He's huge.
They don't want to see that.
Look at his face. He's huge.
Listen, you come down.
Imagine that guy coming downhill.
Listen, you're trying to blitz the C gap, and this guy comes keep barreling towards you. I'm not gonna
And
think
this
twice.
is
Get the Bills a
why
fullback.
Devin Singletary does not average more than 2 yards a carry.
Get the Bills a fullback. Richard, have you met or seen who's the most famous person or coolest famous person you've met at Disney in Magic Kingdom?
There was one day I was walking through Frontierland, and I see this kind of tall guy. You know, I'm 6'3", so anybody that's taller than me, I'm like, oh, you're probably an athlete.
It's gonna be LeBron.
I hear
And I get closer to him, and it was Kobe Bryant. Just walked right on past him, and I was like, I don't lost for words because I was just in the presence of great.
Holy shit.
There was another time where I walked right past Chris Rock, and I did a double take, and he saw me. He caught me doing the double take, and he just laughed because he thought it was funny. And then I've actually helped serve a couple baseball players, Bronson Arroyo and Daniel Murphy.
Do you ever ask him about the
Actually,
A-Rod incident?
No, I wish I did because I grew up a Red Sox fan, so I wish I did. But I'm not actually supposed to acknowledge them
That
and
sucks.
who they are. Supposed to treat them like a normal everyday guy.
How do you treat Kobe Bryant like a normal guy?
Yeah, I mean,
I just don't say anything and keep walking.
I would have tripped. I would have tripped over my jaw.
You are a bigger person than I am,
Yeah,
Richard Perks.
I don't know. I walk past Kobe Bryant. I don't know what I'm doing at that point. At this point, I'm walking past a ghost. Back then, I mean, I walked past Kobe Bryant. I don't know what I would have done. Honestly.
If I walk by the Earl of Bud, I'm shitting
Don't look at
myself.
his name. You should know who the Earl of Bud is. I'm tired of seeing
I don't know who that is. That's crazy,
What
though.
was it? 2 years ago. Actually, I think it was 2 years ago. There's getting close to the end of the shift, and we're closing the restaurant down, and I see this guy comes in with a pretty big family, and
Philip
taller
Rivers.
guy, built guy, big old beard. I was like, hold on a second. That was Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Wow. Damn.
Was he wearing the ring?
The rubber ring?
No, so he was playing in Tampa at that point. This was a Friday night, I want to say. And he just brought the family to Disney World. Him and he's got 8 kids, 9 kids.
Wow.
When you said a big family, I thought you were going to go Philip Rivers. But
Well, I mean, there's a lot of big quarterback families. Yeah, you got Philip Rivers, you got Ryan Fitzpatrick, you got Josh McCown.
yeah,
I think he's got 14 kids or something.
not a quarterback, but
When
Antonio
you said big
Cromartie.
beard, I thought Gandalf. And then the Hobbits were kids, so I could have gone either way there.
Oh.
This is. I don't know what to do with this information. Kobe Bryant, like, don't get me wrong, Chris Rock, awesome.
No.
He was on the Comedy Store. I just watched the Comedy Store. I highly suggest it. It's on Showtime.
This is Kobe.
But Kobe Bryant, I mean, good for you, man. Damn.
I guess opening up with Kobe Bryant was like the ultimate play.
You should have said, like, yo, I saw Ryan Fitzpatrick, and then Kobe Bryant.
And then we would have been like, oh, yeah. Oh, we get it. The guy looked like Conor McGregor.
I've been lucky enough that the Pro Bowl was in Orlando for those 3 or 4 years. So I saw a lot of the Pro Bowl players come through Magic Kingdom. Like, I'd just be walking around and be like, oh, that's Tyreek Hill. Just walk right past Tyreek Hill. Or, oh, that's Cam Jordan. I'm standing right next to Cameron Jordan. And there was one time I saw this family, they were like feeding the birds, and I was like, man, can they just stop? So I walked up to them. So they have like a tour guide that walks with them. And I was like, hey, is this one of the Pro Bowl guys? And they're like, yeah, do you want to know who it is? I was like, sure. And they told me it was Xavier Howard. And I was like, yeah, you got to tell them to stop. He's
You should have definitely yelled at Xavier Howard.
Excuse me,
like
sir,
that.
you have to leave. You cannot come here. You are not welcome here. Wow. Have you ever seen any Bills players?
No. Not current Bills players.
They don't go to
I saw Stephon Gilmore.
Gross.
Was he a Patriot at the time?
Yeah.
Damn. That's crazy.
And then,
Not as cool as Kobe.
I gotta
yeah,
start.
that's the.
I gotta start going.
I've met a family member of a Bills player though.
Who?
It was kind of out of the blue, but anytime I see a family that that comes into the restaurant wearing Bills gear, I always strike up a conversation with them, and talk with them for about 10 minutes, and then come to find out it was Jordan Porter's family, like his aunt and his cousins.
Oh, very cool. Yeah, he's a Florida native, right? I believe. I know they live in Florida. I don't know if that's because of his wife, but.
If Diamond Dave was here, he'd tell you about the time he had lunch with Stephen Hauschka.
Well, you see, I had lunch with every single Bills player. I wasn't eating, though.
Just served. Which is okay.
Diamond Dave.
But yeah, I mean, wow, Kobe
Bryant.
Wow. You are the Kobe Bryant of fantasy lately. I mean, this last week was what I would call your 60-point game. I mean, that was Isaiah McKenzie call out like with less than 24 hours till kickoff. That is by far an impressive move.
Yeah, when I talk or think or do fantasy, it's basically I'm just throwing darts blindfolded. I was like, he's this color's green. He's got a good matchup. I'll start him. I know jack shit about fantasy. But now I got some tips. What?
Just do some research. Just watch some highlights. I just keep track of the guys that make a big play and then are kind of quiet in that one game. And I'm like, they're probably going to break out the next week.
Next level analyst right there. We're lucky to have him.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. Richard Perks, thank you for joining us this week. We will be back on Sunday.
If whatever you want us to talk about. We can talk about Dune some more.
You want to come back on Sunday night? What are you free Sunday night, Richard?
Yeah, I guess.
We'll do
early
it.
in your afternoon.
We'll do it again on Sunday. Yeah.
Fuck it. You tell us some more fun stories about Disney?
If you want.
If you
It's
want.
bye week.
Absolutely.
Bye week
I
Disney edition.
got plenty.
Oh, thank God.
Nah, I was on the fence before, but he's got plenty, so now I'm all in.
At some point,
That's the sell.
I'm going to need some like wild stories like, this kid started screaming and then her mom's. I just need to hear the horror stories too. Not just the Kobe Bryant stories. I need to hear the horror
He
stories.
probably says that do not discuss.
An NDA? Uh-oh. We don't have lawyers here at Madmen Sports, Richard.
Yeah,
so.
we have one.
I will say working at Disney is a great form of birth control. That's all I got to say.
Oh, no. Oh, poor kids.
Oh, poor Richard. All right, that's our show, guys. We'll see you again on Monday morning with Have a Coffee with Richard, Jake, and Zach.
And leave a comment if you ever met Kobe Bryant, but you didn't, so no comments for you.
Leave a comment
I'm
for the most
turning that
famous
shit
person
off.
you've ever met.
Bye, guys.
Take care. Hey, thanks.